Our fault.
Okay.
Continue.
All right, but you could hear me, right? Yeah, okay. Good, good. So I said it wasn't recorded or something, so yeah. So yeah, so that's what I did. Like I was very proud of what I did because I took painstakingly, painted every oval, circle, whatever. And then when I got back the thing from my teacher, she gave me a D. But I was like, well, you told us to do what we like and choose the color we like, do the pattern we like. I like all concrete ovals and fully filled whatever. But her idea of like it has to be random, it has to be very colorful and all over the place, which is fine, But I think if you're in the education field, please be kind to your kids, especially their first foray to art or math or science, whatever. Don't hurt their like confidence by saying that is a wrong design or that is okay. Math 1+1 = 2. Actually, that can be argued as well. But some things are more black and white. But I think art, design, visual interpretation is a bit more different shades of grays and colors. So I think that's one thing to kind of keep in mind if you have, even if you're not in the education, just your kids or people you're helping. Don't tell them this is wrong or right, but give them examples of what it could be different, and encourage them to maybe say why they liked what they did, which will help them see different differences and different viewpoints. So that's my story. Oh no, I'm already going too long about this story, but so like that's not necessarily that was in Singapore grade 1, but that's not necessarily East versus West or anything. But I think there's a trend. If you see that more like simple, subtle design versus strong, what do you call, more bold colors and patterns. So even though from the potato incident, I think I thought I liked simple designs, but I compared just my Instagram with one of my good friends from Finland. And one thing is like simple doesn't mean that. Simple can be also, there's various degrees. So I like simple, but maybe more bold colors. Even though I like this kind of style, but when I take a picture or when I put a filter on, that's my eyes kind of veer towards that more. So I think a lot of times when you compare like different backgrounds, you do tend to notice a trend or a pattern. They may, of course, nobody's exactly the same, but there's just differences that we can consider if we're designing for different audiences. So, so in China, a lot of websites, even though I haven't actually lived in China and I've been away from Asia for a while, I do notice when I visit like Sina.com, this is one of their popular websites. It's like a combination of Facebook, Twitter, and of course news and whatnot, shopping and things like that. So it's a lot of text, a bunch of categories on top, bright colors. Of course, it's New Year's coming, but still it's like bold and the kind of visual impact they are looking for. Whereas Sina's own website in English looks quite different. Kind of more mute colors, and even the thing about spring, because Chinese New Year is a spring festival, it's like more subdued and less categories, just a few headlines and things like that. So even Chinese website know they have different audiences, whether they're going for the English website or the main Chinese website. So again, this is just two kind of cultures. Of course, there's many different, within Europe, we have so many different variations, and North and South America. So, there's no time to go into details for everything, but just something that you can keep in mind, even for one website, if you have like two main groups of target or three, whatever, you define your target audience and you can design accordingly. Not just website, apps, of course, and so on. So there's something, or you can just copy with pride. Simple works for both Chinese and English. So I think what to kind of gather from that is there's no one design that works for everyone, but a lot of times what we think is good design may not be visually appealing or intuitive, for example, to some other people. So design with your interest, but also design with your audience in mind. So that's more of maybe kind of interpretation of what's good or interesting design. Let's go to more like layouts. So when I was really young, like before 5 or 6, I actually read books with Chinese that went from right to left, top to down. And then when I moved to Singapore, and Singapore is slightly more advanced, well, not really, but they just had more books that is like left to right, like English, even in Chinese. So when I first started reading those books, I thought this felt wrong. Of course, it's not wrong, but it's because I grew up reading books that went from right to left, top to down for a few years. So it's what people are used to, and that's something to keep in mind. Of course, nowadays, most Chinese, Japanese, and Korean websites are left to right, but there's still like Arabic, Hebrew, and some languages that are right to left, and if you have websites that get translated to, or apps that get translated to these languages, that's something you have to keep in mind. And then, like even nowadays, you can see, oh, this is not very, I should have zoomed in more, but Hainan Airlines, it's just the left and the right side of the plane, but they actually have so this is Hainan Hangkong, Hainan Airlines, but this is Konghang Nanhai. They actually wrote it from right to left. So it's I think to an Asian's mind, it's more from front to back rather than right to left, because that's the front of the plane and goes front to left, and same on the other side. So when I first saw it, it didn't register to me that that's weird, because I can read both ways. But yay, I can read both ways. but you know, like if you didn't understand that, and if you just read the characters, you'd be like, why is this like the wrong way? So it's just something, again, like localization. And when I was looking for these pictures and stuff, I also noticed there was this thing about horizontal scrolling web pages. I don't think it ever caught on, but there was a period of time where, like, you know, ooh, horizontal scrolling, something different, something cool. But when you search nowadays, most of the web pages now are back to normal vertical scrolling. And there are some that maybe exist, but they're mainly graphics intensive and not text. Because if you think about it, most text nowadays is left to right, so you need a stopping point to kind of come back. So horizontal scrolling makes more sense. Whereas if I really did have a website that was just full of Chinese characters going this way, it might make sense for horizontal scrolling, because they need some stopping point from the bottom and then go back up again, and then you can scroll this. But the horizontal scrolling won't be left to right, but right to left. So just to confuse you a little bit more. But you can see that more and more the vertical version don't make sense, because you actually have to put like English or other characters the wrong way around. So now I'm bringing you back again to my childhood, because I like to, you know, reminisce about that and to show you how geeky I looked. But I know I'm still looking geeky now, but don't say that. So when I was a student long time ago, I think I was a good student. I like to think that. But a lot of times, hang on. I did one talk once where I totally forgot to drink for half an hour, and I was like, after that, it was so dry. But anyway, so, oh yeah, where was that? Yeah, but what we did a lot of within me and my classmates is we copied each other's homework a lot. Now, you know, it's not that we don't know how to do it. It's just that, at least at that time, it's very like results, grade, and academic focus for most subjects, especially for like math, science, and things like that. So, and homework take up a big percentage of the grade. So, of course, during the exams, you don't copy each other, but for, you know, we want to at least establish a certain grade for our class, for our homework. So somebody's better at physics, so they'll do the homework and we'll copy off that person. I'm a little bit better at math, so I'll do the homework and somebody will copy off. It's shared shared effort, right? Open homework source. So it's to establish that certain cultures, when they think of copying and sharing stuff, they may not have the bad intention in mind. It's not to steal somebody's work, but rather to share knowledge. And actually, a lot of times we copy from the people we respect most in certain subjects. So that's what happened. I guess people respect me for my math knowledge, and I respect somebody else for their biology knowledge. So, and well, you can see like mostly guys in my engineering college class. So that's anyway. So like I said, I've been away from Asia for a while, but even nowadays, I see like Naomi Wu. She's a pretty prolific. I got the words mixed up. Prolific maker in China, and even she's saying, like in the current environment, because I wasn't sure of how. I don't want to say things that maybe not necessarily true right now, but even now, like original ideas in China. Again, not everyone thinks that way, but there are enough people who think that way that originality may not be valued as much as just maybe copying something and making it better kind of thing. So, and another topic is, even like, it's one thing if you're there in China, it's another thing if you're a woman in China. Of course, we can have a whole separate topic on that. I know I only have 2 minutes left. And it's also different if you're non-Chinese and non-female living in that country, because I know a lot of people who say, I've lived there for 5-10 years. It's not really like that, but the thing is, if you're not local and maybe female, you might experience different things. So just something to keep in mind, that sometimes why they are not necessarily creative is not because they don't want to be or they are not, but there might be other cultural influences at play. So, well, I used to work for Nokia, so I show some Nokia phones. But this thing is probably like they call it what, KRR, keep it real fake in Engadget. So a lot of copies of phone designs. Again, I'm not defending things like that, because I also agree that it's wrong, but kind of understand why some of these might happen in from what you see. So. And this is not just in China or in Asia, because I was traveling in Germany and I saw this lovely sculpture. And for me, I recognized it as the sculpture in Finland by Eila Hiltunen. I think that's the name. And I tried to look for more information, whether around the sculpture or online, but I couldn't find any information on the one in Germany. And then later on, when I was tweeting about it, somebody also told me there was a similar sculpture in Canada. Later, after even more Googling, I found a few sources of that sculpture, and then it turns out that the Finnish version says, oh, it's a plagiarized sculpture, and then the original sculptor is demanding the sculpture to be removed, and so compensation and so on. The German source says, no, it's not plagiarism. And well, then they mentioned that the artist died 10 years ago. Then the Swedish source is more matter of fact. There's a copy of the Sibelius monument in Germany. Okay, so it doesn't tell me much, but anyway, I think that if there's a way to easily credit the original author or creator, like, if my work is shared by other people, I will be proud of it. Of course, there's the whole business side or monetary side of things to consider, but like just thinking, like, sometimes is copying necessarily the evil thing? And if you do that, what's the best way to, maybe you're just inspired by the work, because the sculptures do look somewhat different. So how do you then show attribution and show credit? So, and it's not just physical sculpture or stuff. Of course, there's also, like, when you talk about design, is user experience, interaction, and things like that. The latest iPhone with their all brand new gestures, guess what? A lot of us are actually quite familiar with gestures because we actually worked on, back in Nokia and Yola, phones with gestures. And again, so it's not limited to, Chinese copycats or that kind of blatant copying, but ideas and usage and things like that can also be influenced and inspired. So I think many of us know this, and I think we should. I really want to promote Creative Commons. Of course, I think this may not be the best audience because I'm sure all of you know this, but I like to share this. And another reason is because CC is my initials, Carol Chen. But no, but really, I think because that's the way you can properly give credit to what inspired you, what motivated you, and then who the original source is or idea is. And then, of course, there's respect that if the person don't want any derivatives or non-commercial work, things like that. And, always make it a point to contact the original author, because I think they would like it to have the knowledge that they did something that you appreciated, and that, you took it and maybe changed a little bit, improve on it, whatever. But or you can negotiate with the original author what you can do with it and things like that. So to wrap it up, okay, I know time's up, sorry. So just something to consider, to keep in mind, the differences in people define openness differently from the previous just the previous slides. What is considered good design? Maybe it's not good or bad, but just what's more appropriate for different people, different audiences, and of course localization. Thank you. Any questions? Yes.
You mentioned that it might be interesting to take a look at the reading directions when localizing the web pages. So I've been told always that people first look at the left and the top, and that's why we place menus or important navigation directions there. Would you advise to also?
Okay, so the question is, when you design web pages, to look at different directions, but people are told that most people start from the top left. And that's true, most people start from the top left. And I would say maybe in this day and age, that's probably true, but there's still people who start from the top right because of the right to left text. So again, first define your audience. I think for most of the things, whether it's software, design, whatever, we need to know who our target users are, target audiences. And if your target audience does contain people who, have a different language or different way of viewing stuff, then maybe you can talk to them and see if there's something you can do to make their experiences better. So, thank you. And one last thing, we have, even though I didn't talk about my project, we have some cute stickers for ManageIQ and Per project at the open source design booth. Thank you for having that. Yeah. So if you like these cute little animals, of course not designed by me, but some of my colleagues, please go to the booth and take them. Thank you.